Hello guys, so a couple of months ago I made a video on how to have a startup file for Blender with most of my settings. Now that video is kind of outdated. I changed many things in my Blender setup, and this video is going to be especially useful for people who are coming from Maya and want to use Blender from now on. But not only that, I mean, if you're a simple city scan asset creator, there is still plenty of tips over here. I will go over each one of those and I will explain what they do if it's needed. And we are gonna set up Blender 3.5.1, the latest version of Blender, because I want to use it as well. Previously I was using Blender 3.2. You can also see I have Blender 3.1. This one I use it for scripting, and the old version of Blender, this is for something else. But most of my city scan assets, I do them in Blender 3.2 and I want to upgrade to Blender 3.5. Now, it's really easy for me to copy all of my settings into 3.5, but let's say you install this from scratch and you must configure everything again. I will show you how I do it, how I choose my personal settings and what they do, and you follow and implement whatever you need from here. And yeah, so let's go. Basically, I have all of this set up here. I will drag this to my other monitor and we're gonna go over all of those steps. I also have my website here. We're gonna use this for later a little bit. But yeah, you just finished installing Blender 3.5, you open it and let's actually start from here. Okay, so once it's loaded, you get this menu, just close it, delete everything in the scene, okay? And we are gonna go to Edit Preferences. So first things first, on interface, I like to have the resolution at 1.2 because I use 2K monitor, so it's easier for the eyes and I'm old. Yeah, but choose whatever you want. I uncheck the splash screen. We don't want to see that bullshit when I open Blender. We uncheck navigation controls, but I don't see it here. And status bar. Oops. Yeah, we don't need anything here. And let me see. Menus is fine. Anti-aliasing. Yeah, navigation controls. It's those things. Nobody uses those things on the right side. Okay, so we unhide it. Now we go to viewport. We uncheck playback frame rate. Gizmo size, I like to have it at 70 pixels. And in the 3D viewport axis, we choose simple axis, size 30 pixels. It's basically this thing here. Like, you don't really need it. Like, who uses this? Like, just use your mouse, right? Okay, so whoops. So we go simple axis, and this is just so we can see them there. Now you can make them as big as you want. I just want them like 40 pixels for my monitor. This is fine. Like I usually don't even look here. Like that's just there. I don't know. Brightness 10 just to make it a bit more bright. Okay. And viewport anti-aliasing, we go 16 samples. Now this depends on your GPU and all that, but I think everyone can run 16 samples just fine. And anisotropic filtering, I prefer to have it at off. Okay, now I go to lights, and this is not mandatory. I mean, you don't have to do it, but I have my own thing here, my own light. Basically, it's intense shader over here, and let's save preferences. Always save the preferences, and it's basically this material here. So instead of the default Blender one, I have my own one. It's probably the last one. Yeah, intense shader here. And if we have a cube, and let's go back to the default, it looks like this, and with mine it looks like this. So if I move the camera above, like you can see, this gets darker, and it depends on the angle you see it from. This shader is extremely similar to the one Maya uses, the default Maya shader. I really liked it a lot. and I recreated it in Blender. You don't have to use it, but whatever. You can find it on my website for download. Okay, now let's go back to edit preferences and we go to system and we go to CUDA and we make sure we check GPU. If you have like a strong GPU, RTX, 2 series, 3 series, 4 series, whatever, use that instead. It's much faster. If you don't, then yeah, use your CPU. In my case, my GPU is way better than my CPU, so all of the renderings and processing and all that must happen on the GPU because it's way better for me. Okay, undo steps 256. Like there's no reason not to go to maximum. Just in case you fuck something up, you have plenty of room to go back. Okay, now let's go to save properties. Now we go over here on the scene properties. Where is it? Over here, the scene properties, we go to units, and instead of using metric, you use none. This is personal preference, and I will show you why. Mostly for city skylines asset creation, you don't need to have it in meters. You just, I will show you. Okay, just wait. So now with that turned off, we go to the viewport overlay menu over here on that little arrow, and we uncheck all axes, like those lines here. You don't need to see them, and I will show you why. Let me just scroll a little bit because we are gonna go to the viewport gizmos over here and we are gonna enable move. So when I have an object selected or something, I see the axes here. Like I don't need to see them on the ground. It's very annoying to me. Maybe personal preference to you, I don't know, but I don't like having those as well. Okay, scale 1, subdivisions 8. So you can see as I move further away and I change these subdivisions, you see what's happening with the floor there. So if I set it to 8, it means this is 1 unit in city skylines. Okay, so that's how I set it up, because 1 square right now, if I have the unit system here to none, 1 square is basically 1 meter. Okay, so 8 of those is 1 unit in city skylines. This is really easy to have it like this. It makes more sense to me. Okay, so over here we enable statistics because we want to see over here on the left menu the triangles and all that. We enable face orientation, and we're gonna work with that a bit later. We go into edit mode, we press tab to go into edit mode, and over here we have more options now. So we enable face orientation, and now we need to have edge length enabled. So edge length shows you those little numbers. So now this face here is 2 units. Okay, now it's when you drag it, you can see this is 3.5 units. It's not meters, it's units, but for us it is meters for city skylines. Okay, so under objects here we need to remove everything except outline selected and origins. You don't need anything else. Absolutely no point in, I mean, if you make animations and all that, maybe you need the bones, relationship lines and all that, but if you're not into making animations, you don't need those things. Okay, let me see what else is here. So we have to disable motion tracking, but I'm just blind. Okay, so it is disabled. Okay, cool. All right, now let's go. I'm just reading from this menu, just so it takes a bit of time to find those settings. Okay, so let's go to edit preferences. Let's go into let's say preferences, and let's go into object mode first. Edit preferences, and now we go to themes. Okay, and for themes I am choosing Maya. I really like how this looks. It's personal preference, but I'm gonna customize this, so just watch with me what I'm doing and you tweak it how you want, but this is a very good startup, let's say. So in preferences and themes and 3D viewport, we go here. Let me make this a bit bigger so we have it on both sides. Well, actually this is fine as well. Face orientation back. Where is it? Face orientation back. This must have all the values 0, 0, 0. okay? Because when you look it from the back side, you must see it black, okay? And if you look it from the front side, actually no, face orientation like that, and alpha is 1, okay? And face orientation front is all the values to 0 and alpha at 0, okay? So this is transparent. And let's actually save that, and let's see if this is working as it's intended. So let's just remove this face. Okay, so if we see inside, we see the faces black, but if we look from the front side, we know that those faces are the correct color. And if you flip this face, for example, you would see it as black, so you would know that you have a problem there. Okay, so that's it. And remember, this is done with face orientation enabled, so you always keep it on. It's really easy to see now if there's an issue with your mesh. Okay, let's go back to, where was it? Themes and 3D viewport. Okay, active vertex, edge, and face. So there is a specific setting for that. 1 second, let me see if I find it. I'm really blind. Okay, this one. So not the active vertex here, or active edge, or active object. This one, active vertex / edge / face. Okay. And for the hue, we go with 0.087. This is personal preference. Saturation 1, value 1, alpha 0.5. This is how I like it, orange. This is how Maya has it. I really love it. Okay. Now let's save preferences. Do this often or you might lose everything that you do. 3D viewport, vertex size. I like to have it set at 4. And face dot size, this is set at 5. Personal preference. I like them a bit bigger. Okay, 3D viewport, theme space over here. And we go here to gradient colors. Background type, a single color. I don't like that gradient there. And for the background color, we go to hex and we go 6C, 6C, 6C. Okay, like that. So this neutral gray. It's very easy for the eyes. Well, it's not neutral, it's not mid gray, but it's very easy for the eyes. It's really easy to see your object, and yeah, I really like working like this. Okay, now let's go back and save the preferences. I haven't saved. Always do this, remember. Okay, now I go here in this little ball. So there's 3 balls here. First one is viewport shading. The second one is the lighting thing and all that. So we choose the first one, and the last one is rendering. Well, all of them are called viewport shading. Sorry, this one is solid view, this one is material preview, and this one is render view. And the first one is just wireframe. So we go over here into viewport shading. We already chose the intense shader, if you want to use this or not. And for the color, it's set to material. We can change this. We are going to change this later with a little script. Background theme. Okay. And we disable all of the options. We don't need anything else here. Let me see what else. 3D viewport. Okay. So we have to join those two. So we don't need the animation. You don't use it. So I'm gonna right click on this middle area. So join areas, and we're gonna go bottom. Okay. I like to have the outliner on the left, but I don't remember how to do that. 1 second. Edit preferences, 3D viewport. Yeah, I don't remember how I set this up, but oh, I think I know. So we have to make another thing here. So over here we're gonna have the outliner like that. Yeah. Okay, and we can actually join those two now. So I'm gonna join the areas to the right. And I have to move this somehow, this thing to the left. I don't remember how. First of all, let's merge those two together. So join areas on the bottom. This is personal preference. I just like it like this. And now I have to make like another thing here if I can. I have to drag another one here. Oh boy, this is embarrassing. How do I make another one? Like I have to bring the properties here underneath, but I can't. So I can do that, but I cannot do a vertical one. That's so strange. Oh, there you go. You have to drag it from the bottom. I'm sorry. Okay, so once again, here we go outliner, and here we go properties. Okay, and we have it like this on the left. Again, this is something that if you come from Maya, this is more natural for you. Okay, and we can have that like that. Okay, so we have everything on the left, especially the outliner. This is very common in Maya to have everything on the left, and I also prefer it like that. Okay, now snapping. Snapping is here. I don't recommend you to use this like on off because if you hold control, it's automatically going to be in snap mode. We don't change that hotkey, but for snapping, we use vertex, and you hold shift and you go edge center. You don't need anything else besides this. Okay, and for the type here we go with bounding box, so make sure this is always set to on. If you want to center like to the middle and stuff, you will use individual origins or median point, but most of the time you keep it like this. Okay, so it must say here a mix, and once we set up the hotkeys, you just hold control and you will automatically snap. Like when you hold control, those things are enabled, vertex and edge center. If you don't hold control, you don't snap to things. Okay, we remove the unnecessary workspaces here, which you really don't need. Like you don't, I always do it in the layout. Like I don't need the modeling thing, I don't need the sculpting thing, I need the UV editing, texture paint, I don't do that. Shading, maybe it's useful for you if well, actually it is useful. Animation we don't need, rendering we don't need, compositing we don't need, geometry nodes you don't need, scripting maybe. I usually like to have it on because I do a little bit of scripting, but if you don't like it, just remove it. Like you only need those three. Okay. All right, now let's go into keymaps. So once again, let's save the preferences. Okay, and this is where the fun starts. There are two things here, Blender and industry compatible. Industry compatible is absolute garbage. Like it's like Blender's version of trying to be up to date with other softwares, but it's not. It's really garbage. So I recommend you to just follow what I'm gonna do now, because I do make it industry compatible. And yeah, we start with the default Blender. Okay. So if you go into 3D view, and 3D view global, there's always like much more stuff under 3D view, but usually you always choose the global version. Okay, so let's go here first. What we are gonna do now is we're gonna do this thing, fixing rotate, pan, zoom to industry standard, because this annoys the fuck out of me. I don't know how Blender in their huge wisdom decided to use shift and weird hotkeys to pan and zoom and all that, when every other software out there uses alt and yeah, that combination of hotkeys. And it's especially annoying if you use like Marmoset toolbag for rendering, or you know, like I export something from Blender and I alt tab into Marmoset toolbag and I want to render something quickly, to not understand the hotkeys. Like in whatever way I move the camera and pan and zoom and all that into one software, I want to be exactly the same in another software. So this is really important if you use Marmoset toolbag, or I don't know, Substance Painter, Substance Designer, all kind of other softwares. They all have this industry standard, except Blender. So we are going to change that. Okay, we are going to go to rotate view. Okay, and as you can see, there's multiple of those, and we are looking into view 3D rotate. But remember, for everything that I say now, there's always going to be multiple of those because you have multiple shortcuts. I mean, for the rotate view, you have the option to use the trackpad. So if you're on a laptop or something, so you could leave that, okay? Or the other one. So I always change this one. And the way I use it is over here. I use left mouse button and Alt key. So Alt and left mouse button to rotate. Okay, now we search for pan view. Oops, let's close this pan view. And again, we have this one and this one. So we're going to choose shift middle mouse, and this one is with the trackpad. So we're going to use this one instead. And we are going to go Alt and middle mouse button. So, okay, Alt right mouse button. Okay, like that. And let's close this down. And now we are looking for zoom view. And this one is control middle mouse. Let's see if there's, oh, there's plenty of them here. Let's choose this one. Okay, so we're gonna use Alt and right mouse button. And I just realized that on the pan view, I wanted Alt and middle mouse button. So we're gonna press middle mouse button and Alt here. Sorry, my apology. So Alt right mouse button for the zoom, Alt middle mouse button for pan view, and where was the other one? Alt left mouse for rotating. This is industry standard. Every software is like this, okay? One second. So this one is precise zoom. Normal zoom is on a scroll wheel, so wheel in, wheel out. So that's also, we keep that. The rest you can just delete them if you want. Like they all do the same thing. Personally, I just leave them here because if I need to override those hotkeys, I will do it anyway. But yeah, you can just keep them here. Let's go save preferences just so we're fine with it. Okay, and now we go to key map, if I can find it here. Wait, where is that? In 3D view global key map. No. We have to close this thing. Image. Okay. Image global and pan view. And which one we choose this one, middle mouse. This one is for the when you talk about image, this one is for UV editing tab. Okay, so we want to have the same hotkey there. So we choose the same exact thing. So for pan view we go Alt and middle mouse button. So Alt and middle mouse button. Okay, we move that. Zoom in. There's plenty of those. So wait, no, zoom view we are interested in. Let me see. So we have those three over here. When we're going to choose this one, the control middle mouse button. So we're going to change this one to Alt right mouse button. So right mouse button and Alt. Okay, and we have to fix the rotate view. So where is the rotate view? Oh, actually, we don't even. Yeah, we don't have rotate in UV editor. So now let's check. Yeah, this is it. So I zoom in. Right now I'm zooming with the wheel, but if I want to be more precise, I hold Alt key and right mouse button, and I can zoom like this very fluently. And Alt and middle click, I pan around. Alt left click, I rotate. Okay, and we have absolutely the same exact hotkeys in the UV editor. Like right here, I'm panning by holding Alt and middle mouse button. And once again, this is common in every other software. So I definitely recommend you to go like this as well. Okay. Now, one thing. I already made a video about this, but I will show you here as well. You are right now in object mode. Okay. So if I want to go into face mode, okay, I have to press tab you always switch from object mode to edit mode by pressing tab. That is really annoying and it's an extra hotkey. Okay, so now if I'm in edit mode, I go 1, 2 or 3, and you can see here 1, 2, 3 to go into vertex mode, edge mode or face mode. But what if I'm in object mode and I want to switch directly to face mode? Or what if I'm in object mode and I want to switch directly into vertex mode? Like, why do I have to press tab? It's absolutely retarded. Okay, so to fix that, we're gonna go to edit, preferences, keymaps. Remember, we are still editing the Blender. Okay, 3D view, object mode global. Okay. First we uncheck the hide collections. So if we scroll here, we can see we have plenty of collections here. So you can either delete those or just uncheck them from here. I'm just gonna delete them. Like, I don't need those because I use only H key to hide everything, to hide what I have selected, and Alt H to bring it back. Like, I don't need to have all those, but if you need them, fine. Okay. I just realized I removed something else. Or actually, no, it's fine. 1 second, let me read on my other screen. So, oh yeah, no, it's fine. We keep those, because in case you need them, you can customize them on whatever hotkeys you want. Okay, so now we scroll all the way to the bottom, and we're gonna add new shortcuts. Okay, so when you press add new, you are gonna have another one here, none. Okay, so we expand that, and over here we are gonna type exactly this: object dot mode set dot mode underline set underline with underline sub mode. Okay, so it's already over here, so we have that. Okay, and there's for the mode we choose edit mode, and be careful because there's 2 edit modes here. Okay, and if you hover over this one, it says edit grease pencil strokes. You don't care about this. This is the one you want, the one next to object mode. Okay, so when you hover it, nothing shows up. This is the classical edit mode. Okay, so this is the one we need. So we are gonna choose vertex, and the hotkey is gonna be 1. Okay, so when we are in object mode and we press 1, we go directly into vertex mode. You don't have to press tab. It's way faster, way faster. Okay, and you have to make sure that repeat is enabled. Okay, toggle is set off. Leave every other setting as it is. Okay. So I have to do the same thing. So I'm just gonna copy this entire thing from here, basically this thing. So again, object mode set with sub mode. We choose repeat, hotkey number 2 for edge mode, and we check edge mode here, and mode, edit mode. Okay, and another one, add new, expand that, open that, and hotkey is set to 3. We repeat, and we go face mode and edit mode here. Okay, and now we save the preferences and close this. So let's see, we are in edit mode, in object mode, and right now I'm pressing 3. Bam, we are in, you can see here we are in edit mode and in face mode. Okay, now I go back to object mode and I press 1. You can see I'm directly into vertex mode. I go back and I press 2, and you can see I'm directly into edge mode. Okay, so that's really useful to switch like that. And once you're in edit mode, you can just cycle between those to whatever you need. Okay, now I have to do one more thing. So instead of pressing tab to go back, I prefer to have it on tilde key, like, because it's right next to 1. So basically whenever I work, I just have my fingers on tilde key and then 1, 2, 3, depending on what I need to do. Okay, so we are gonna do that as well. We need to find where that thing is. So the tilde key to switch to object mode, but not go back to edit mode. So in 3D view, object mode, and where is it? 3D view. 1 second, over here, object non-model. Okay, so we expand 3D view and object non-model, and over here This one set object mode. This one we replace with the tilde key. Okay. Now, if you're on a laptop or something, use whatever you want. I feel like this makes way more sense instead of pressing tab. Okay, so now I just press tilde key 3, I'm in face mode. Tilde key to exit 1, I'm in vertex mode. Tilde key 2. Like it's so much faster to go like this. Way faster. And you know, guys, I'm always up for increasing the workflow, because every other hotkey that you press that makes no sense is just wasted time. Okay, now let's see what else. Alright, make W fixed to select box over here. You can hold click on the icon. Okay, I will show you what this does. Just search for the key binding W and under, so let's do that. So we're going to key binding and we're searching W. Okay, and under 3D view and 3D view and UV editor, I wonder if those are separate or no, it's probably in separate like this. 3D view and UV editor, set tool by name. Oh, this one, set tool by name, uncheck the cycle. So we go here and we, okay, yeah, this is fine, this is fine. So in 3D view, set tool by name, W, okay, and we uncheck the cycle. And we do the same thing in under UV editor. So set tool, we go to uncheck the cycle. So what this does is basically it's gonna always stay on to this identifier. So whenever you press W, yeah, it's hard to show, like, but over here, like this thing is always gonna be on a move tool. You will see later. Okay, now we need a hotkey to change this grid. Yeah, you don't have to if you use my add-on. Remember, I have a resources page here, and if you go to my custom add-on, this is, I definitely recommend you. It's free, just download it. So you can hide the grid from my add-on, but if you don't want to use my add-on, you can have a hotkey for this, and I think it's quite useful. Let's go 3D view global. And we're gonna go add new. So we're gonna add a new hotkey. Let's expand that. And in the identifier here, we go wm.context underline toggle. This one, okay. And in the context attribute, we go space underline data dot overlay dot show underline floor. Okay, space underline data overlay show floor, and the hotkey we're gonna press F8. Okay, and yeah, all the other settings are fine. So now if we go save preferences and I press F8, I can toggle the grid on and off. So this is really useful if you just want to look at your object like that and then bring back the grid. Sometimes I find that very annoying to have the grid enabled. All right, and by the way, if you want to change the way the grid looks like, you go into themes and then 3D viewport, and then the grid here, I usually like to have it completely dark and a bit like 0.4 or something like that, just so I can see it better, but not extremely crazy. All right, now another thing, to enable the wireframe on shaded. So this is really useful, guys. Especially if you work with multiple objects. So we go into window, add new. What the hell? What is that? Over here into window, and over here we add a new one. And for the identifier, we go wm.context underline toggle. Okay. And for the context attribute, remember we did the same thing previously, but we did it on the 3D view global menu. Now we do it under window, and over here we go add new. For the context attribute, we go space underline data and dot overlay dot show underline wireframes. Okay, so that one, and the hotkey It's gonna be F4. So we do F4 and we save. But there is already an F4 keybind. So we go here and we just type F and 4, and you also have this one file context menu. So you want to disable this because this is gonna override that one. Obviously you can use any shortcut that you want. I prefer to have it on F4. So what is this gonna do? When you are in object mode and you press F4, you are gonna see your wireframe on the object, and this is really useful, because if you have multiple objects, it's important to see your wireframe. So F4 to enable, disable it. Again, if you use my add-on, there's a menu over there to do this kind of thing, but it's useful to have a shortcut as well. All right, now we have to change the behavior of this isolate thing, the slash key. Like if you have a numpad keyboard, it's the one under right next to num key, the slash. Okay, so, or it's the one next to shift, on the left of shift key, slash. So let's change the behavior of that thing. So search key binding. So search here, we search for slash, and we're gonna remove frame selected for both local view over here and over here. So there's two of those local views, okay, and we uncheck the frame selected. Okay, very important. And right now it's not doing anything, but you will see. So let's go back. So we're gonna type here frame selected. So what? Oh, I think I fucked up. I shouldn't have deleted those because I don't know. I don't remember now which one. In 3D view, frame selected. Actually, no. Let's do it in a different way. We go to key binding. Go to key binding and just do dot. Okay. And let's look now for frame selected. Yeah. This is fine, guys. This is fine. Nothing to worry about. So we are gonna replace this to Z for zooming. So let's see. We're gonna use this one to Z. And let me see anything else. Yes, in the image, remember this is the UV editor. So view center, we're gonna do Z as well here. And that's about it. So now if I'm zoomed out and I press Z, I immediately go to my object. And this is really useful because if I want to zoom into a vertex, Z, and I'm there. Okay, over here, Z, and once again on the object, Z. It's really useful to have it under WASD. Okay, and let me file preferences and save preferences just to be sure. Okay, now another useful shortcut is Alt S for merging vertices by distance. So to do that, again, 3D view. Let's zoom out of there. 3D view global. No, mesh. So 3D view, mesh, and mesh global. And we're gonna add new over here. Okay. And expand that. And for the identifier, we're gonna do mesh.remove underline doubles. Okay. And the shortcut is gonna be S here, and you enable Alt. Okay, merge distance, the tolerance here, you're gonna do 0.01 or something like that. Yeah, 0.01, it's really useful. Yeah, this seems fine. But we have to save preferences, and that's already an assigned Alt S keybind. So we have to go here and find Alt S, and we are looking for shrink and fatten over here. Yeah, see under mesh, we have to remove this one because it will override our merge by distance. Okay, so remove that. And whoops, oh fuck me, what did I do? Okay, close that one, and once again save preferences. So now if I split this face, okay, and I move it over here, okay, now I have double vertices here. But if I go into wireframe mode and I select them, Alt S, see, removed one vertex. And it's really fast to do it like this, instead of right clicking or M and by distance, like way too many things. So Alt S really quickly. Okay. Oh, and I haven't showed you the snapping right now, because so I want to snap this face right directly on this vertex. So what I do is I press G to move and Z on the axis, and now I press Control. And because remember what I said, when you hold Control, you will enable snapping. When you don't hold Control, snapping is not enabled. So I enable snapping by holding Control. I hold Control right now, it's enabled, and I just hover over a vertex. Like, see right there, and it's perfectly snapped. And yeah, you will love it. You will love this once you get used to this way of snapping. It's absolutely wonderful. Okay, so that was Alt S, and we need one more for merging the vertices at center, because once again pressing M and doing all that, I don't like that. Again, this is personal preference, but I move way faster like this. So 3D view, mesh, global. We're gonna do add new over here underneath the one that we just did. For the identifier, we go mesh.merge. Okay, and shortcut is gonna be F1, so we're just gonna press F1 there. And the option over here, it's gonna be at center, type at center. Okay, so file, save preferences, and now if we split this thing and we snap it again and we select those vertices, F1, it's gonna be automatically at center. So this is done. So now you can see that it is merged. I to be honest, I rarely use this because 95% of the time I do Alt S, like just, I don't know, maybe I need to merge those vertices like that, or over here right in the middle, but that's, I don't know, rarely used. Okay, change duplicate face to Control D. This is again something that I had in Maya, and I really want to have it the same in Blender. So 3D view, mesh, global, and let's search here for add duplicate. Where is it? I am either blind or... Okay, add duplicate over here. So instead of Shift D, we're going to use Control D. So we just do it like that. Okay. And let's remember to save. Okay, now let's go quick rotate. Quick rotate 90 degrees. So 3D view, mesh, global. So we are right here, 3D view, mesh, global, and we're just gonna go all the way to the bottom, and we're gonna use add new. And the identifier is gonna be transform dot rotate. Okay, and we have a lot of options right now over here, but what we want is to have on E and enable Alt, so Alt E to rotate by 90 degrees. And the angle is gonna be 90 over here, so just input 90. The axis is gonna be Z axis. Orientation global, so we can just enable those things. We have to click this thing, confirm on release, very important, and accurate. Okay, so those are the only things. So save preferences. So now there's something going on because it's not working. Oh, it's probably another hotkey that's overriding this, because I press Alt E and nothing is happening. So let's go to key bindings and Alt E and look into mesh. And obviously we have extrude, so we have to remove this thing. Okay, because for extrude you just use E. Okay, so now if we have it like that, and look at that, Alt E, and I can quickly turn everything 90 degrees. and that's really useful. Okay, just pressing Alt E. All right, let's continue. We need a shortcut for face attributes. So we go here to item, and for some reason, oh, okay, there we go. Where is it? Over here into options, correct face attributes. This is when you're having a UV on your object. When you move your face, it's gonna go with the UV or not with the UV. So just experiment with this. It's really useful, or just use my add-on because you already have it there. But what I do is I right click here and assign a shortcut, and I use it on 9 key. So 9 on my keyboard. So I can, when I press 9, I disable this thing. So instead of just going to this menu, you know, like you usually have it closed like that. So press N to open it, click options, click here. You know, this is really way too crazy. So I just press 9. It's much faster. Okay, now we need to double click for loop edge select. Because if I have another loop here and I want to select the entire loop, it's crazy to hold, what is it? Alt, Shift and click. Alt, Shift and click. That's way too crazy. So like Maya, it's much easier if you just double click on it. So to enable that, 3D view, 3D view, mesh and global. So we have to search for loop select. To left double click. So we have plenty of those here. Make sure the identifier is mesh loop select, and instead of alt left mouse, I'm just gonna do left mouse, and instead of click, we're gonna do double click. Okay, so identifier mesh loop select for the loop select, left mouse button and double click. Okay, file, save preferences, and now let's check. Double click, and there you go, selects the entire loop. Absolutely perfect. Much faster. All right. Now another thing that I really love is quad view. So let's go to preferences, and let's search here for screen. If I can find it, I don't know where that is. Where is it? Screen. Okay, I'm blind. Screen, and then screen global. And then toggle quad view over here, this one. This one I prefer to have it on space because we are not animating, we are not doing anything. You don't need the space bar. So file, save preferences, and if I go, oh, it's still doing an override somewhere. So let's go here, keep binding, and oops, come on, type space bar. And let's see, we have that into screen, so why isn't that working? There's something with animation somewhere. Why is this not working? I didn't save, or no, it's still going to animate player. Okay, oh, over here, frames. We have to remove those. So remove that thing. We don't need it. Okay, now save preferences. Oh, okay, there we go. So now if I have to align something extremely specifically, like I can just go here and, you know, snap like that, and then you go back. So it's all on spacebar. Really useful, really fast. All right, now there's only a couple more, so we're almost like 70% done. We're gonna add D key for separating stuff. So we're gonna go to mesh, 3D view, mesh global, and we're searching for separate by type. Let's look here. Select. Where is it? Separate. Yeah. separate by type selection, and the hotkey is gonna be D. Okay, so let's save preferences, and if I have this face, that's not the way I want it. Why is that happening? We have another mesh separate. Okay, I didn't check that. So let's try again. There we go. So now when you have a face that you want to detach from your main mesh, you just press D. Makes more sense. Okay. Much quicker. I'm just gonna Control Z to have this object back to normal. So once again, you wanna detach this face. So instead of, I don't even know where to go in that menu, you just press D and it's already done. And with a bit more scripting, you will have the origin directly here. We'll go over that. Or just use my add-on. It's much quicker. That's about it. There is one more thing to set up the proper view of normal map, but for that, just follow this tutorial. How to see the normal map in viewport. It's really useful, and it's based on camera, so then you can truly see directly on the mesh how your normal map is gonna look on the object. So use this thing. It's a fast tutorial. I'm not gonna go over it again over here. Now you're just gonna install some add-ons. So let's go to preferences. We finished with all of the key bindings, so make sure one more time, file save preferences. So for add-ons, obviously I use my own add-on a lot. Blender add-ons, and over here I have quite a lot of them that I gathered over time. So intense utilities 1.01, you can download this on my website, free. So just enable it, works perfectly fine in this version. Okay, and now we are gonna install, actually you know what, I'm not gonna install all of those right now. You can just find them in my resources and my personal Blender add-ons. And it's auto reload, text tools, and texel density. And I made over here a zip file with all of those and Oscurart, but I don't think that's working anymore. But those are absolutely mandatory. If you're a City Skylines player, you need those. So I have a zip file containing all of them. They are free on GitHub from the respective developers. You can either choose my addons.zip and install all of them, or just go and search them onto GitHub. I will remake this page so you have a direct link here to the exact thing, because you should download the latest version. So, but instead you don't want to, in case you want to avoid my website, just go here, texel density, Blender, add-on, and this one, GitHub. Okay. And you just download it from here. Don't go code and download zip, just go here, releases, and always choose the latest release. And you download the zip file. You don't extract the zip file. Actually, I can just show you. So I downloaded this thing. Let me just place it on desktop, just so it's easier for you to see. So, okay, I have it on my desktop, the latest version, and now we go edit, preferences, add-ons, and install, and we go desktop, and boom, it's there. And yeah, this is really useful, and you will see it now in the UV editor over here, texel density. Okay, that's how you install it. Right, so well, a couple more useful things besides my add-on and texel density and all that is the F2, which is a Blender default. So F2, enable this gives you more things. Research about it, it's really useful. I always keep it on. And then loop tools, again, extremely useful. You should read what they do. And the node wrangler. This is if you ever want to toy with PBR materials and so on. Maybe it's going to be useful in the future for City Skylines 2, we don't know, but it's really useful. Just research what those things do. If you don't care, don't install them. But the others, textile density, text tools, auto reload, they save your life tremendously. And besides that, my add-on. Like there's so many things in my add-on here that it's really worth installing. Yeah, vertex normals, smoothing. Anyway, there's plenty of videos on how to use my add-on. Okay. And that is about it. So file one more time, save preferences, and then last thing is file and defaults and save startup file. And that's it. Now, when you open Blender, I mean, you can close this, you can delete that thing if you want. And once again, save startup file. Okay, and now if we close this one and open again Blender, we have all of the settings applied and we are ready to go. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Hope this was useful. If you have questions and stuff, just come on my Discord. You will have a link in my description with all of the things that I mentioned here. And if you scroll to the description, just stop by the like and subscribe thing. Okay, see ya, peace.